Help me ducks, it's Simon here. Welcome back to the Hermit's Cave. How is everybody doing? We are fast approaching the end of the week already. I'm a few days late on posting this video and there's a reason for that. And I'm going to do this the opposite way around to how I normally do it. So when I'm doing my deck of the month, or decks of the month that I'm going to be working with, I usually show the decks that I've chosen to work with that month. They're either new or ones that I'm pulling back off the shelf. And then at the end, I talk about how I got on working with the decks from the month previous. Now, this time, I'm going to do that a little bit, well, not a little bit, completely opposite way around. And there is a reason for that. So, last month was a challenge. So, we're talking of May of 2025, if you're watching this at some point in the future. It was a challenge in as much as I set myself that challenge not to work with the RWS for a whole month. First time I've done that in years. Pleased to say that I was successful, even though partway through the month I was able to obtain another Blushing Fool deck by going into a shop and finding one there. But it sat on the shelf. I've only got it out to do tags, VRs to tags, or tags that I created, like top 3 of 3. But I've not worked with RWS during the month of May. And even when I went away, like with Sandra, when we went to Whitby, I didn't take an RWS deck with me. And that's been great. Don't get me wrong, RWS is still my number one. It's still my favourite. But I really enjoyed diving deep into 2 other systems, which is the Thoth Tarot. And I said I would be working with the Francois Gorgin Epinal Tarot Revised, which was done by Deviant Moon. Full honesty and transparency, I worked with this deck for about a week. And it is beautiful, this deck. It's everything I thought it would be, you know, and it's a faithful reproduction from a deck that's in Patrick Valenza's collection of the original Epinal Tarot. And there's nothing wrong with it, but I worked with it for about a week because I started working with a deck back end of last year and it stayed on my table and it was coming out every so often. And you'll not be surprised because I've talked about it recently a lot in tags. The Veketa just called to me to work with it. And I'm really glad I responded to the call because I've had so much fun working with this deck. It is so beautiful. You will have seen yesterday or the day before, and the last video I did anyway, the Il Meneghello decks. I ordered a backup of this and it arrived this week because it's getting a lot of love and I just want to make sure, because they're always limited numbers, I didn't want them to stop doing them. I don't think they would, but I wanted to get a backup. So backup secured, but this deck was crying out to be used, and so I used it and substituted that Marseille deck, the Epinal deck, with the Veketa, because I didn't want to stop working with the Thoth. As the month started, and I showed it on May's decks, excuse me, let's have a drink of orange juice. The only one I had, the only greenie I had at the start of the month was this little beauty, which I got from Mate Playing Cards. It's the Greenie Mini. I've already talked about the story that goes along with that. I saw Ethany show it. It sent me down a rabbit hole. Sandra sent me a link. I ordered it. And then I found out it was from the same creator who had sent me the Old Fellow Revived and the Astro Rider-Waite. And I messaged her to say, oh, I've just bought a deck from you. Can't wait to get it. And then she sent me these two. So I haven't, again, full transparent, I haven't worked with this one yet. I like it. I think it's beautiful, but I'm really enjoying the original. This is the inverted one, or the paradoxical. I'm really enjoying working with the original style. That I've not picked that one up yet. So this one kind of became, it's a lovely size. It's not as big as the original Greenie, but it's classed as jumbo on MPC. Really enjoyed working with this deck. And then when I went into the shop in Haworth, or Haworth, depending where you're from, I'm putting it in the lid. I'm like, why doesn't that fit? Where I bought the Blushing Fool from, that I've just showed you, there was a Greenie in a shop, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my gosh, they've got a Greenie. I wonder how much they're selling it for. Inquired, they said it's not for sale. So I instantly felt like really crushed, like, oh no, now I've held one in my hand and I can't even buy it. So I hunted one down and I managed to get a Greenie on eBay. And it was a great price. I put in make an offer and they accepted the offer straight away, no quibbles or anything. And so I've even got a little green flat piece of malachite in the bag as well. Yeah, so this is the original Greenie, and I have just had such a blast this month. And, you know, to think that for years I was saying, no, don't like the don't like the Thoth deck, does nothing for me, leaves me feeling cold. I don't like abstract art. But this deck has completely, or I have completely changed my opinion of this deck. It's changed my mind. So much so that I've really enjoyed working with it. I'm going to bring the camera down a little bit. I'm also just going to just take the top layer off, just so we get a clean background for these images to really stand out. So what is it about this deck that I've really enjoyed? First and foremost, it's the artwork, and as I mentioned, it took me having to see the original Lady Frida Harris's artwork at the Warburg Institute to really appreciate how beautiful these pieces of art are. And this deck is so vibrant. Lady Frida Harris's vivid and detailed paintings just infuse the deck with colour and symbolism, and just gives this energy that's both, for me, really inspirational and really hypnotic in some senses. I just sit looking at these images. The images are so powerful. I mean, just look at these. It just has this dynamic and almost electric quality, which really brings this kind of sense of intensity and movement within the cards. And I mean, talking of movement within the cards. The deck is laden with esoteric and mythological references, which really does allow for deep dives into the meanings. And there's so many different interpretive layers, multiple layers within these images. and you can lose yourself in them. Now, I'm not, I don't subscribe to Kabbalah. That's not to knock anybody who does. It's just something that's never clicked for me. And astrology is something, sorry, that, you know, I've tried to look into, but again, just doesn't, that doesn't matter. For me, it doesn't matter. I also am somebody that says I don't like abstract art, but the abstract art in here really has a mystical feel, and many of the images have this almost surreal, dreamlike quality that really connects with your subconscious, and that really lends itself to intuitive readings. You'll see on the minors as well that there are each pip card has a keyword, and that provides, if you're not used to a deck like this, it provides that sort of springboard for interpretation. So we have oppression here for the Ten of Wands. Yeah, and it makes it easier to grasp the card's energy at a glance. So what I would say, if people are a little bit off-put by the artwork, those keywords is that springboard. Yeah, it's just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. The courts, as you can see here, break away from the traditional interpretations and just offer a more complex archetype, which really does provide a fresh insight, really, into rich personality depictions. Oh, look at that. And I know lots of Thoth readers find the deck's tone to be forthright, honest, and perhaps a little bit no nonsense. And that's perfect for those people who want clear and direct answers. For me, yes, you can get that. You can get that from the deck, but also the images I find speak to my subconscious more, and the more that I sit with them, the more that I ingest them, the more that I just think, look at what's happening here. Again, there's lots of movement, there's lots of energy within these. So that was the month of May. And I also bought Lon Milo Duquette's book, which is Understanding Aleister Crowley's Thoth Tarot. Now this I've only had just over a week, and so I have worked with the Thoth through May, pretty much using a very basic book that came in a set with a Rider-Waite-Smith. You had a little mini Thoth, a mini Rider-Waite-Smith, and a book that covers both. And what I found really interesting about that book is, I mean, both of these decks came out of the Golden Dawn. So there's lots of esoterical overlays with the cards. But the similarities, it really drew upon the similarities between the two decks, which I found quite useful as somebody who is quite proficient in reading RWS. So I liked it for that, and as I mentioned, you know, having the keywords as springing off points as well. But because this came right at the end of May, and it just looks so interesting, I thought, do you know what? I'm not ready to stop working with the Thoth. And about 2 weeks ago, when payday came around, I ordered from the same lovely lady, Anna, on MPC, a trimmed version, because I've seen lots of trimmed versions, and yes, I do have a Fisker's guillotine and a corner rounder and all that. But I thought, do you know what? If there's a deck out there that's already trimmed, why not just get it, saving the hassle of, you know, trimming a deck and running the risk of messing it up. And I certainly wouldn't trim a greenie either, let's just say that. I love the green borders on the greenie. It really enhances the images for me. So I posed a question in the Hermit's Cave Facebook group and said, look, does anybody know of a borderless Thoth deck? And they came back and said, yeah, the person that you've been getting the decks from also has a borderless greenie on there. So, and I think it's because MPC, I don't know if it's just me, if anybody else experiences this, I find it really hard to navigate, and the search bar may as well not exist, because I put stuff in there and it just comes back with no results, and I'm like, so I went to my order history for this, and then went to see more items in the shop, and it brought it up. So I ordered it, and it's arrived today. So I've not seen it yet, because you don't get all the images now on MPC either. But I thought, well, that's great, because I can continue working with the Thoth. I'll show you the decks I'm going to work with in the evenings. This is going to be my morning, my intentions. Oh, look at this. This one comes in a tin. All the others come in the 2-part boxes, but this one comes in a tin, a bit like our other decks, like Old Fellow Revived. And it's tarot sized, you know, a standard, let me grab a card, a standard tarot size that you would get anyway from MPC. So this is the only tarot sized Thoth deck that I've got, because the others are jumbo or mini, or my actual greenie is even larger than the jumbo. The backs are slightly different, as you'll see. Let me grab a, well, I can use that one, can't I? So you can see it has a different coloration in the background. So that's interesting. But you'll see that it has like a green, very different design, but it's still got a green panel, but it's taken the images from the greenies that she's got, and then she's added other symbols on there, like the element symbol. So we have a symbol here for the Fool, and I'm assuming astrological symbols. As I said, astrology isn't my thing. So I thought, well, let's see how I get on using a borderless Thoth. This is on the MPC's Superior Smooth, and it's really nice. It feels lovely. I wonder if we lose any of the imagery. Let's have a look. Let's find the Hierophant, and then we can compare the two. I love the Hierophant card in this deck. It's wonderful. It's so strange how opinions can change over time. And even though all it took was to see the artwork, the original artwork, and then be intrigued enough to order a mini, and then a month of using it every day has then even deepened that appreciation that has turned into absolutely loving the deck. I thought it was going to be right at the end. Okay, so there is a colour difference. It's quite as you can see, this is a lot more saturated. Let's have a look at the MPC. I feel like I'm really geeking out here, but oh, it's right at the top. So if we, the colours are much more saturated. So the MPC Greenie is a lot deeper in colour than the original Greenie, but then the Borderless one is deeper in colour again, as you can see. All lovely, all of them are really nice. So, but be interesting to see how I get on with this version. I mean, it's rich, beautiful. I was also looking, wasn't I, to see if any images, if it's cut anything off, but it doesn't appear to have. Looking at that one, there's our devil, look. And I know quite a few people have trimmed Thoth decks, but I thought, do you know what? If there's one out there, let's get it. It wasn't too expensive. It's more expensive actually having it shipped. But I mean, look how beautiful, look how deep that green is. So lovely. It also feels like the keyword stands out a lot more because they are quite faint on the originals. It stands out a little bit better. Oh yes, I like this. How lovely. Something else I really noticed as I was working with this deck throughout May is, despite this being created in the 20th century, the art in this deck feels really fresh and modern, and even quite futuristic. It could have been created now. I mean, when 1960s, wasn't it? It was released, so 60 plus years ago. Anyway, I'll just quickly, I want you to see them all. Having had a borderectomy. Beautiful colours. That's off the cover of the book. Love that image. Our Queen of Discs is magnificent in this card, as the Knight. Okay, so that's the Borderless Thoth from Make Playing Cards. It's going to be my morning deck. So what am I going to be using in the evening? Well, if you were listening a few days ago, I kind of let it out the bag because I love this deck. It was sent by Cheryl at Wonders Emporium, and it's the Joker Tarot by Corrado Roy. And I'm going to be mixing it up with Murder of the Crows, also by Corrado Roy. Very similar in their art style. It's just that one is monochromatic and the other one has muted colour tones. So I was originally going to use this in the morning and the Thoth at night, but this one, just the way I do my readings is it's intention setting in the morning and things to pay attention to and what to look out for and how to react to things and setting the scene, if you like, for the day. And then in the evening, it's a reflection reading on my day. And the images in these decks lend themselves to me more for reflection. So I thought, no, I think in the evening I can come home, have my dinner, before I get too tired. Little tip for people who have said to me, you know, I have intentions of doing readings in the evening, but I get so tired, there's no time left, and you know, I end up just going to bed. I get it. What I would say is, don't leave it too late. Do it around 7, 8 o'clock. You know, just after you've kind of settled in, you've unwound from your day, whether that's work or whatever you've been doing. Have something to eat, and then before you settle down to watch a film or a program or some YouTube videos, just pull your cards and just sit with them for a bit and think about your day and what are the cards telling you, what could have been done differently, what have you learnt from the day, what can you take forward. And I just find that's better than, oh, I'm so tired, I need to go to bed, oh no, I've got to do my cards. We don't ever want it to feel like a chore. Anyway, this deck is magnificent. Absolutely magnificent. I love it. It might do a Vacetta on me, because my intention was, and that's why I edged this deck in red too, because I realised that I had the deck and I'd forgotten I'd got it. The only difference is it's not the same luxury cardstock here as here. It's gloss, but that's fine. And this one, as I said, it's in black and white, so I edged it in red at the weekend so I could bond with this deck a little bit. And again, look at these images. It is magnificent. This is Murder of the Crows Tarot. I didn't get the one with the red. I'd love the one with the red embellishments on it, but at the same time, even if I got that, I wouldn't part with this one because I love the images in this deck as well. He is so talented as an artist. He really, really is. And these decks help me to realise that I'm much more dark and creepy than I am rainbows and unicorns. They have the place, but I don't know, there's something about the vibe of these decks that, and maybe that's how I view tarot as well. I think it stems from the fact that growing up in an organised religion and the kind of, you know, oh, what are they? Don't get involved in them, you know, kind of gave me this sort of, ooh, tarot. I am past that now, of course, but I don't know. The more kind of dark and shadowy a deck, the more I'm drawn to it. They really appeal to me. So this is perfect, both of these decks. And I know we're in June and we're going into summer months, and maybe I should be looking more at rainbows and unicorns and fluffy bunnies and all that sort of stuff, but I don't want to. So therefore I'm not going to. Yeah, so anyway, I'm going to alternate them. I do kind of feel that this deck in particular might want me to use it more than every other day, but we will see. So that's the decks that I'm going to be working with throughout June. I'm going to be using the Borderless Thoth, which means I would have spent 2 whole months working with it every day. And then we'll see how we get on for July, whether I'm still going to work with it or give something else a go. For my morning readings, and then I'm going to be working with Corrado Roy's Joker Tarot or Murder of the Crows Tarot in the evenings for my contemplation and reflection readings. So, what decks are you going to be working with throughout the month of June. Let me know in the comments below. I love hearing about what people are going to be working with, what they've been drawn to work with. And yeah, I'll look forward to it. I edged this in black as well. It didn't come edged, but it was crying out to be edged, so I edged it. Oh, I just love it. Anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. I'll be back. I've still got 2 decks to do from Cheryl at Oneness Emporium. So I will do them probably over the weekend, and that will finish them. Am I here on Saturday for Couple Catching Cards? Yes. Yes, I am this Saturday. So I will see you then. Thanks for being here. Do let me know your decks that you're working with this month. And until next time, go in peace. Namaste and blessed be.